Right. I mean, how much would you take? I would totally take it all.
I would do the whole thing.
Yeah. So I'm adding the garlic. And then I think what I love the most about my chimichurri mexa, I baptized it mexa chimichurri for the Mexican ingredients, is the pumpkin seeds. The pumpkin seeds give it that like nutty, fresh, and the crunch. And then,
nice.
So we have our chimichurri. Mira qué bonito está. I mean, look at that.
That looks so good.
It's like so vibrant
so
and
green.
all green.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna toast the bolillos in the grill.
Okay.
As you cut the meat, okay? Oh my God.
That looks perfect.
Alan, you grilled these like to perfection. Okay, so let's cut that into bite-sized pieces.
Okay.
I'm making mine, you're making yours, okay?
All right.
Putting me
a lot of meat.
in like every corner. And it's like so meaty, and suddenly you get that like burst of green.
Yeah.
O sea, how good does this look?
Looks so good. That's so good.
It's like, even the birds are singing. When I was in Mexico and I was seeing all these players and their families rooting, it reminded me of when you were little and you were doing soccer, you remember?
Well, you used to be a crazy fan. Used to be the craziest fan because, you know, most parents, they show up, they put up their chairs, they'll clap or yell their kid's name, but you were like, Mátalos, mátalos, vamos, Alan. You'd scream, scream, scream at me. I remember looking back at you and all the parents were looking at you like, who is this woman?
Was it embarrassing?
No, that's not bad.
It was a little embarrassing.
No, but that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be.
Pan dulce, Mexico's treasured sweetbreads. It's a centuries-old tradition that makes classic European pastries uniquely our own.
Rico verte!
Un placer.
Today, I'm in Monterrey, Nuevo León, meeting with Pan Dulce master panadero and award-winning author Irving Quiroz, who's helping me in my obsession to create the crunchiest campechana.
Perfecto.
And I break bread with one of Irving's former students, Chuy Elizondo, who runs one of the hottest brunch spots in town, at a location you would least expect.
Eso está impresionante. No sé cuál me gusta más. ¡Qué bárbaro!
And one of the key ingredients in Chuy's famous chilaquiles verdes is also one of the most commonly used meats in the state, chicharrón. Today, we'll meet the family who owns a butchery known to have the best chicharrón in town.
Comer un taco delicioso. Rico.
Let's get to the kitchen, where we'll try another Mexican pan dulce delicacy, sweet pineapple empanadas. But first, let's listen to this bite one more time.
Doesn't stop.
I am going to give you a secret.
Yes, I love secrets. It's like nothing I've tasted before.
Today I'm excited because I get an exclusive look inside the workshop of a baker I've admired for a long time.
Rico verte.
Un placer.
Oye, what a view! O sea, no wonder you make such amazing bread.
Yes.
Irving Quiroz is a bread-making trendsetter. He's one of the few generational bakers willing to share his family's secrets. As an author and teacher, he has dedicated his career to generating pride in Mexican bread making.
¿Sabes qué? En mi caso, ser panadero en México no es algo muy que yo me sintiera orgulloso. Entonces yo quería tener mi diploma francés. Y hoy en día lo que más me enorgullece es decir que soy panadero mexicano, ¿sabes?
After leaving home to train in France, he returned to Monterrey with renewed purpose to explore and share his country's baking traditions.
O sea, porque tú tienes esto como en tu ADN.
Sí, exactamente.
One of those traditions is the perfect campechana, a classic Mexican pan dulce made with puff pastry consisting of only 5 ingredients: flour, salt, sugar, water, and fat.
I'm obsessed with the campechana.
Yes.
And I feel like it's a very simple thing, but almost impossible to achieve.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's anything but simple to achieve the crunch of the perfectly caramelized exterior that gives away to the deliciously crisp and airy center.
Para mí, yo digo que es el hojaldre de los pobres. No tiene mantequilla, no tiene margarina, tiene manteca.
I didn't know.
Si lo haces con mantequilla, es imposible.
Really?
Sí.
Ay, pues por eso no me sale.
Sí, claro, sí.
Within a few minutes of learning from Irving, I'm already a better baker, I think.
You're looking for the window pane
The window
effect.
pane. Bueno,
So if you stretch it soft and long enough, you should be able to see light through it. I'm making holes.
yes. Entonces, vamos a ponerla
You did
aquí.
it right. Okay.
Ahora, vamos a preparar en la mesa un
Ok.
cuadro. Esto es otro secreto de los panaderos.
Ok.
Vamos a dibujar un cuadro
Ok,
con la
he's-
manteca.
¿por qué?
Esto va a ayudar a que la masa se quede perfectamente bien pegada.
Ah.
Para que después cuando la estires tenga resistencia y quede estirada.
Okay.
¿Sí? Esto es un palo
Fat.
de plástico, pero puede ser un palo de escoba. Y ahora voy a empezar
Ay, qué rico.
justamente a estirar
Ajá.
a lo máximo y enrollo. Estiro y lo que estoy haciendo, estoy enrollando muchas capas de masa y grasa, como si fuera un hojaldre.
Yeah, let me try.
Sure.
Pero and the challenge here is not to break it.
Exactamente.
I can feel the pull. This is so much fun.
Básicamente así.
Ajá.
¿Está?
Yeah.
Así.
Yeah.
Esto va hacia arriba.
Ay, wow. Wow. I need to
ahora?
find me one of those sticks.
Vamos a trabajar con la masa campechana.
Okay.
Irving is an encyclopedia of baking knowledge. He spent years researching his top-selling books by building trust with local bakers who over time share their secrets, like how to create 60 layers in a single pastry.
Ahora, este es otro truco. Si tú tienes 20 vueltas aquí, pero tú haces una vuelta sencilla como un
En tres,
hojaldre,
yeah.
ahora tienes 60 vueltas.
That's amazing.
El azúcar.
All of this new information is making me very hungry. So let's get this in the oven already.
So glorious.
Yes, yes.
This is insane. Because it's now, oh, and they're puffing and they're bubbling.
Yes.
Because now it's all puffed up with the first rice.
Yes.
And I can just imagine the crisp layers.
Yes.
And now the top is completely melted into
Yes,
caramel.
yes. A real campechana.
I'm like dying to bite into one. Whoa.
Look at that. Cuidado.
Yeah, no. This is
And
This
smell
is
it.
so, you're making me so happy. Matt, I think that we need to bring the microphone down so
Yes.
you can get the sound of the crunch.
Sure.
Ready?
No words.
The millions of crunches.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not too sweet. Just a little bit, but it's crunchy in every bite. You like it?
No, I love it.
I can see your face.
Have you ever heard this big of a crunch?
Nothing beats a perfectly crunchy campechana. And it's even better learning from someone whose mission it is to record, preserve, and share these traditional recipes.
I'm sure that the next time that you make campechanas, you are gonna get it.
No, pues ya estoy aquí con el master.
I don't want the sweets to stop. Irving has inspired me to make one of my most requested recipes for you. sweet pineapple empanadas.
So I'm gonna start my dough for making pineapple empanadas by adding 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of grated piloncillo. Now you know piloncillo by now. Piloncillo is the most unprocessed form of natural sugar. It comes from the sugar cane. You grab your knife and then you just chisel it. And it's actually really satisfying. We only need a tablespoon, but now I'm having fun here. Then I'm gonna mix this a little. So I'm adding a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter that I already diced and a 1/4 cup of vegetable shortening. And then you're just gonna mix like this and you're gonna squeeze the butter and vegetable shortening into the flour until you get a little bit of a like coarse meal. It's really delicious here. If I press with my hands really hard, it comes together. If I go like this, it crumbles again. So that means we did a really good job mixing the fat into the flour. What people used to add to the dough was pulque, which is kind of a fermented drink in the style of beer. I like to add some light beer, and I'm adding it little by little as I mix it, and it's gonna help it rise and leaven. So it will give it a very light texture as it fluffs and puffs a little. And I just wanna make sure that you know that this dough does not have to be perfect. See how it's a little lumpy? We're gonna wrap it in plastic and put it in the refrigerator anywhere from a half an hour to like 24 hours.
While my dough is resting, I might grab a concha and a tire rotation. A former student of Irving Quiroz now runs what might be the most hipster bakery in town.
Oye, pero no me dijiste que estabas en un body shop.
Sí, aquí estamos.
Está padrísimo.
Aquí fue el primer horneado de pan.
Aquí.
Un pedacito, allá en un pedacito. Sigue siendo taller, allá está.
Taller más
Sí,
cool.
Sí.
Sí.
Luego empezaron el primero.
Vamos,
Adelante,
yo quiero que me
por favor.
enseñes.
Chuy Elizondo worked his way up from very little to now owning Benel, a renowned bakery and brunch restaurant with 4 locations in Monterrey. He takes a traditional pan dulce like the concha and completely reimagines wild new dishes. Like this sweet and savory bomba chilanga, a vanilla concha with chilaquiles rojos and shredded chicken, loaded with toppings.
Ah, bueno. Es dulce, ¿no?
Está exquisito.
Es dulce,
Sí, like the sweet concha, con los chilaquiles and the chicken.
Now for the machacado toast, traditional carne seca, or dried meat of the region. Atop a buttered piece of Chuy's fresh bread, with ripe avocado and a dusting of corn ash.
Machacado es el desayuno por excelencia regio. Bien, ¿te gustó?
Buenísimo.
And last but not least, this insane croque madame with beef barbacoa.
Uy, croque madame. O sea, France commit Mexico.
Sí.
Wow. So you're just finding ways to make your bread shine.
Ya.
Sí. Estás haciendo... ¿Qué vamos
Salsa.
a comer ahorita?
Chilaquiles verdes con chicharrón de la Ramos. Ironically, we have bread restaurants.
Yeah.
And the best seller
Yeah.
is the chilaquil verde with chicharrón.
That's so funny.
Chicharrón is fried pork rind, and almost everyone gets it from the same place. I'll take you there later to find out why. Like most entrepreneurs, Chuy has overcome challenges. But in Monterrey in the late 2000s, cartel violence was reaching new levels and crippling small businesses.
¿Sí, no?
Chuy's resilience was key to his success.
Y puse 3 negocios. Y en ese tiempo se vino la inseguridad. You can leave the house after 9 p.m.
There was a curfew.
Yeah. Llegaban con una pistola, se sentaban. ¿Y dónde está el dueño? No, pues no está. Ah, pues bueno, vengo la otra semana. ¿Y dónde está el dueño?
Y tú
No, pues
decías,
no está. Sí, claro. No está. Pues,
Y tú sabías que eran.
sí, pues traían pistolas, ¿no? Entonces todo el tiempo pasaba así. Sí.
So you closed them all. Los cerraste todos.
But the brownies.
With only one business left, the bakery, Chuy kept going. He discovered his love for making pan natural, bread without preservatives. And in 2016, he opened Casa Benel.
Está riquísimo.
Hoy he aprendido
No tiene
todo.
preservativos.
No, nada.
But there is one item I need to investigate. Those delectable deep-fried chicharrones in his chilaquiles have appeared on nearly every menu in town. And they're all from the same place, Carnicería Ramos.
Vine aquí a la Ramos porque a todos lados a donde voy a comer chicharrón me dicen que es de la Ramos.
No, es que este es el mejor.
Es el mejor.
Sí, es el mejor.
¿Por qué es el mejor?
Porque son los... Bueno, de los que yo he probado, ese es el mejor.
Chicharrón, or fried pork rinds, are a popular treat here in Mexico. You can eat them in so many ways. In tacos, with salsa, guacamole, or just by themselves as a tasty snack like French fries. Yum. I've arranged to meet Samuel Ramos, co-owner of Carnicería Ramos and son of the founder.
Oye, pues es que a todos lados a donde voy, que hay tanto chicharrón, y todo el mundo me dice el chicharrón de la Ramos.
No lo has probado,
Bueno, claro que ya lo probé en todos lados,
pero no lo has probado conmigo.
pero no lo he probado contigo.
Carnicería Ramos started as a humble butcher shop in 1968 by Samuel's father, and now has countless locations selling nearly 2 tons of pork rinds a day.
Oye, pero yo quiero probar chicharrón.
Sí, con gusto.
¿Sí?
Con gusto, pásale. Te vas a comer un taco delicioso.
Sí.
Vamos, uno y uno.
Sí, tú házmelo.
¿Yo?
Sí.
One of the reasons that Ramos chicharrón is so rich with flavor is using the pork cheeks instead of the pork belly.
Tu lunch.
Dos,
Una, dos,
tres.
tres. Super crispy all around and it has the meat inside. Oye, y qué orgullo, la verdad.
Ahorita somos la segunda generación. Aquí estábamos, o sea, la sangre aquí la tenemos. Aquí la tenemos y aquí estamos todos. O sea, somos 3 hermanos y los 3 estamos metidos en el negocio.
Que esté la familia junta, unida por el chicharrón.
Así es.
Now I know what everyone's talking about when they say chicharrón de Ramos. My empanada dough is almost finished resting. Let's get the pineapple filling going.
Just gonna remove the top, the bottom, all of the outside. And I also wanna remove all of these little eyes. I'm going to cut it up into small bite-sized pieces, but I'm gonna remove the core. Doesn't have to be perfect. You wanna make sure that your pineapple is really sweet. It's so sweet. It's so delicious. I think that the 2 most popular sweet empanadas are the pineapple and the pumpkin. And the great thing is that if you make enough of a filling for both, you have extra mermelada, marmalade, or jam. So juicy. Okay, so I'm adding a cup of piloncillo, which is like 7 ounces, and I already grated it. And I'm gonna keep it over high heat for like 6 to 7 minutes until the pineapple really starts letting out most of its juices and it starts bubbling. Meanwhile, I'm gonna get my orange and my lime ready because I need to get some really delicious taste from both of them, and I need pectin. So pectin is a substance that is found in the rind, in the core, and many times the seeds of fresh fruit. And pectin kind of helps achieve that deliciously jammy, gelatinous texture that you find in jam or marmalade. We have the sweet, it's the tropical sweet from the pineapple. And then we have the very rustic kind of barnyardy sweet from the piloncillo. So this is gonna help contrast and add like another dimension. I'm gonna start getting my rind packet ready. I'm really fond of using cheesecloth. Not only is it really cute, but it's really useful because then you add your seasonings or any ingredients that you want to add flavor or get something out of in a stew or anything that you may be cooking, and then you don't have to be fishing for them. Now I'm gonna remove the pith and the white parts of the orange and the lime because we don't want that much bitterness. And then you go in between the membranes like this. Okay, so now I'm adding all of these in here. Then what's gonna happen is I'm wrapping my rind packet just like this. Then this is gonna be very easy to fish out. So now you see why it was really good to wait until all the juices started to come out because these need somewhere to sit. The orange and lime supremes are gonna break into this filling and you won't even see them or feeling, but they're gonna render all of their flavor in there. So now we're gonna reduce to medium-low and it's gonna cook here anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And while this is happening, I'm gonna get my dough ready into empanada portions. I have my dough that's been resting. I'm going to separate it into 18 pieces. And I'm gonna cut this dough into about 3 even pieces. It smells so good. It smells like a bakery in a small town out in the country in Mexico. This is not very even, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna cut each of these 3 pieces into 3, each of the 3 pieces into 2, and then I'm just shaping them into balls. The balls don't have to be perfect. And the dough feels nice. It already feels a little springy. Okay, so now I'm gonna let these rest for about 10 minutes and let's check to see how the pineapple filling is doing. So as you can see, the pineapple filling is ready. I can remove the rind packet, but I'm going to squeeze any and all syrup that may be in there. Look at the beauty. We have very little syrup that got nice and thick, and we can see the bottom of the pan. It leaves a trail. It's orangey, very tropical. It has a little of a candied feel on the outside, but then it has a really, really nice juicy bite. So these on top of some like queso fresco on top of toast or over pancakes or French toast or whatever it may be. But for empanadas, it is pretty extraordinary. And I'm adding some flour to my hands and some flour to my rolling pin. And now I'm gonna grab, oh, this is now so much softer than it was before. So the dough rested in the refrigerator for a half an hour and then it's been resting here for like 10 minutes. And the difference in feel is like a universe away. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, but this I learned from the bakers in Mexico. So you roll it a few times and you just rotate. And I do like my empanadas chubby with a lot of filling. So I'm going to add a very generous 1.5 tablespoons, and I'm adding it right in the center, just like this. I mean, just look at this color. It is like pure sunshine. Add a little bit of water with my fingers all around because I want to seal the empanada as I close it, just like this. Then I want to press really well. You don't want the filling to come out. Once you have the empanada like this is the folding method. So you go like this with the empanada and you go with your finger like this. You fold with your index finger. Is this the index? This is the thumb. So you go like this with the index and then you press with your thumb. Go like that with the index, press with your thumb. And then we're giving it a beautiful shape. regardless of how you roll the dough. Now we go to dressing them even more, because now we shape them so pretty. You want to do egg wash all over. And this is going to give it an even more crispier texture with the granular sugar. These are going to bake in the oven at 350, anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes until the empanadas are golden on top and on the bottom. Empanadas are super ready. I like to sprinkle a little bit more of the cinnamon sugar on top when they're hot. I'm hoping the taste delivers as much as the smell, because the smell is so delicious. They all look so cute. Makes me happy. It's really good sturdy though, but I bet when I bite it's gonna be soft in the middle. I'm getting the deliciously sweet, but not too sweet from the filling. And then I'm getting the slightly sweet from the dough and the different kind of sweet from the cinnamon sugar on top. And this is such a delight.
One bite of piloncillo and I'm carried away to my childhood in Mexico.
This is like the piloncillo I had tried before, like times a million.
Piloncillo is made with only one ingredient, the juice of sugarcane.
It's wonderful in a hot day.
It's delicious.
I have used it in my kitchen for so many years, and I'm so excited to finally taste it directly from the source, as the Garza family in Allende fires up their century-old sugar mill.
Smoky, it's barnyardy, it's like yum.
Then, just a few hours north, in the magic town of Bustamante, I meet the Caso de Luna sisters, who have been using the sweet, raw flavor of piloncillo in their pan dulce recipes for more than 50 years.
Wow! The secrets that you find?
Delicioso.
Plus, they surprise me with a puffy, cheesy, crunchy delight dripping with tomato sauce that makes me want to make my own Nuevo León-inspired pie.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
In my kitchen, I'm making an irresistible orange and piloncillo adobo pork roast pizza that your family is going to love.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Doesn't stop.
I am going to give you a secret.
Yes, I love secrets. It's like nothing I've tasted before.
Tucked under Cerro de la Bandera, or the Mountain of the Flag, on the edge of the River Ramos, is the Garza family's vineyard. The land in the city of Allende has been in the family for nearly a century. As much as I like their wine, I'm here for something much sweeter. An event they hold once a year, when brothers Edwin and Alexis fire up their antique mill, dating back to 1903, to make piloncillo with their family and friends.
I use piloncillo. I love piloncillo, but I've never seen how it's made.
Okay.
Aquí lo hacen desde el principio.
Yes.
A ver, enséñame.
Okay.
All over Mexico and Latin America, you'll see piloncillo in the shape of small, truncated cones similar to these.
So the name of the base is pilon, so that's why it's called piloncillo.
It's used in so many ways, like in pan dulce and desserts. But in some cases, you can eat it by itself.
Uy, the consistency.
¿Qué tal?
Oh my God. This is like the piloncillo I had tried before, like times a million. It's tart, it's sweet, it's grainy, it's a little sour, it's like rustic, it's smoky, it's barnyardy, it's like yum.
The process is simple, but not easy. First, it requires a lot of sugarcane.
This is a lot of pressure.
Okay. Another
Ay,
one?
casi, casi.
Almost. That's it.
Ay, mira, y aquí se ve el jugo. Perfecto. It's like a sugary water, but it's a little...
It's wonderful in a hot day.
It's delicious.
Next, the cane is grinded to a pulp in the mill, and the sweet, earthy juices are separated and collected.
Uy, qué delicia.
After the juice has boiled for a few hours,
Eso es lo que pasa. Se empieza a formar una estela de azúcar y tal. Lo otro que hace, eso que está.
it's time for the fun part. Now I know why the Garzas only do this once a year and invite a lot of people. The meat must be stirred hard and fast for about 20 minutes to get the proper consistency.
Sí, allá.
Yes.
Y nada más le hago la vuelta así, pero más fuerte. Pero ellos estaban haciendo mucho ruido.
No pasa nada.
Y el color está tan precioso. Es como color zapote, como el zapote negro.
When it gets colder, it gets a lot heavier.
Ah, so as it cools down, it's harder to stir.
So that's a little secret.
Okay. Ah, mira, mira.
It's hard to imagine that a plant, some heat, and strong friends are all you need for this magical rustic treat as natural as Mexican sunshine.
This is such a huge amount of indulging. It's insane. So good. Me voy a llevar unos a mi casa. Ever since I can remember, I've been charmed by the beautiful taste of piloncillo. This one I got straight from a mill in Nuevo León, and today I'm gonna use it to make an orange and piloncillo adobo pork roast. So I'm just putting this piloncillo that smells like heaven. I'm putting it right here so that it can melt into this hot boiling water and it turns into syrup. And in this adobo, I'm gonna combine the melted piloncillo with guajillo chiles and some of the spices of the region, and of course, orange juice. I'm using guajillos, which of course by now you know, and of course I know you have in your pantry. You just need to remove the stem, remove the seeds, you just break them open, just like this. And my guajillos are toasting. You wanna toast the guajillos until they toast and transform. You can see they're smoking, they're letting out the fumes, which is great. It's gonna make your kitchen really come alive. And we're gonna let these chiles cook in the water, rehydrate and simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes, just until they completely soften. And once the piloncillo fully dilutes into the water, I can turn it off. And I wish you could smell the sweet tang from the piloncillo syrup. You can see the color. Okay, we're gonna set this aside so it cools a little. And I'm gonna get my pork ready. Here I have a 10-pounder. It's what it's called a pork picnic shoulder, which means that it comes with the bone and with the skin. And every part of it is gonna be so delicious. So the skin and the fat that's over the meat, it's actually like your pork belly or like a thick bacon or what we use in Mexico to make chicharrón. To get it ready for the adobo, I'm gonna score it. And I wanna cut through the skin and the fat, but I don't wanna score the meat because if not, it will dry. I'm cutting into the fat. Okay, now I made my lines vertically and now I'm gonna go horizontally. So I finished scoring the skin and the fat of my pork picnic shoulder. And I'm gonna tuck it in here. And I preheated my oven at 450. Okay, let's make the adobo. I am using, of course, all of the guajillo chiles that I just rehydrated. Then I'm gonna pour about a couple cups of the cooking liquid in here. Then I'm gonna pour my piloncillo syrup in here, which is a thing of beauty. Just look at the color. I'm adding orange juice. And I'm adding coarsely chopped white onion, 4 cloves of garlic, peeled and raw, about 8 to 10 whole cloves, but I'm removing the stem because the stem is too hard and too bitter. You can just crumble. And then I'm adding about half a teaspoon of allspice peppercorns, which in Mexico, they go by pimienta gorda, so cute and round and chubby. Half a teaspoon of black peppercorns, a teaspoon of coriander seeds, a teaspoon of dried oregano. Looks so pretty from where I'm looking at it. And then a teaspoon of cumin seeds and a tablespoon of salt, which is 3 teaspoons. It's gonna work so well together. And now I'm gonna puree until completely smooth. Oh, yum. Oh, yum. It is so intense. Okay, so I'm gonna pour the sauce all over the meat. And I'm gonna add the 2 bay leaves. And I'm gonna put these in my oven, which is at 450, and I'm gonna roast it for 1 hour uncovered. Okay, this is gonna be the first flip of my orange and piloncillo adobo pork roast, and it looks so beautiful. Now, the top super crisp, and this is why I wanted to score it so that all of the adobo goes inside of the meat and the fat from under the skin starts rendering. And so you get that pork belly kind of a thing. I'm gonna flip it. It's a little tight in my pan. So now I flipped it, now I cover it. I'm gonna reduce my heat to 350 and I'm going to roast it for another 2 hours. This pork is going to be so irresistible, it's gonna be falling off the bone.
A 2-hour drive north from the Garza's Piloncillo Mill brings us to the magic town of Bustamante, home to a famous bakery that uses the sweet, rustic flavors of piloncillo in their soul-warming pan semita chorreadas and pumpkin empanadas.
Bienvenida. Bienvenida a Bustamante.
Sometimes food is a reflection of the people who make it. At Caso de Luna, sisters Yolanda, Dolores, Olivia, and their nephew Lalo are as sweet and warm as the bread they bake in their adobe oven.
Ay! Wow! Wow!
The pumpkin empanadas start by baking a pumpkin to make the filling.
En su propio jugo.
The Caso de Luna sisters started the bakery more than 50 years ago at the encouragement of their father, who was concerned about them being mistreated if they worked elsewhere.
Sí, porque él veía cómo las trataban a las que trabajaban aquí. No, si ahí las tienen sentaditas, llori y llori. Yo no quiero que mis hijas vayan a llorar.
O en casas, o en
Sí,
fuera.
en casa.
Their father planted wheat and pumpkins, and their mother and grandmother built the adobe oven.
Y se empezó a correr la voz.
Sí, está caliente.
Next, the pumpkin is boiled in a copper pot with piloncillo, cinnamon, and anise seeds for about an hour until it thickens and dries. Then the fun part, mixing all the flavors in the soft dough.
Hace un volcán.
Sí.
Y aquí ya le voy a echar el líquido, que es refresco.
Nunca había visto. ¿Qué es esa, la levadura?
Como tipo levadura. El polvito blanco.
Claro. The secrets that you find.
Then the dough is shaped, stuffed with a spiced pumpkin filling, and set aside on a rack. A rack that's held one too many empanadas.
Le decimos el borrachito porque pues ya está aguadito.
Ay, me encanta.
Ya está flojito. ¿Y a dónde vas a poner el pan? En el borrachito.
Sí.
Next, they share their secrets for their famous pan semita, a sweet and fragrant bread thought to have originated from the Sephardic Jews who settled in the region during the 16th century.
Azúcar, canela, aquí sí lleva anís, que es el que le da el sabor a la semita.
Wow.
Pasa de uva, manteca de vegetal y una poquita de puerro. Ahora le voy a dar la forma de semita. Mira, le doblo un poquito para que la pasta quede toda pareja y la volteo.
Esa es la semita. No, pues sí tiene mucho arte.
The pecans used in the pan semita come from the trees in their backyard, a wild species known as criolla, which is unmanipulated and has a richer, sweeter flavor than what you're used to getting at the store, but a little smaller and harder to crack.
Nada más cuidado con un...
¿Va a brincar?
Sí, la cáscara puede brincar.
¿Cuál vamos a probar primero?
Lo que gusten.
¿Qué me recomiendan?
Si quieren la semita.
Está crujientita y truena. Y adentro está tan suavecita.
Bien suave.
Con la calabaza. Uy, creo que esta va a ser mi favorita y todo me ha encantado y ni la he probado. Pero ya nada más con probar la mermelada.
Ya la hizo. Pues que se está llevando todos los secretos usted.
The sisters actually have one more secret. Their nephew Lalo has been in the back baking pizzas for my team. They're so cheesy and delicious, they inspire the pizzas I'm making in my kitchen right now with my boys. The generosity of the Caso de Luna family has been warm, sweet, fun, and so comforting to the soul. And so has their bread.
Gracias. My pork roast is continuing to get just the most succulent pork roast ever. I'm gonna make dough for pizza, and this is gonna be chewy on the inside, crisp on the outside, because I'm using 00 flour for pizza, which I hadn't used before, and it makes such a difference. So I'm using 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, and this pizza dough recipe is so easy and fast. You mix it all together, and then just let it rest. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of sugar. That's just gonna help the yeast wake up and react fast. I'm adding 1 cup of lukewarm water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can do normal olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, whatever you have at home. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm using kosher salt. Gonna mix it all so that when I'm adding my flour, it's gonna mix together much more easily. Then I'm gonna add 3 cups of 00 flour. And I'm gonna just level it with a knife, but don't pack it up. 00 flour is extra fine, and it just makes the pizza dough, when you bake it, it makes it kind of chewy in the middle, but extra crunchy on the outside. So it makes it really irresistible, that game of textures in there. And then I'm just gonna mix with my hands and then see how it's coming all together. It feels really nice. It's gonna be a little sticky, but that's okay. So now I'm just gonna knead it for a second. If it were really sticky, I would use some flour to continue kneading it, but it's not very sticky. So I just wanna make it all come together until it gets a little springy. And I'm gonna add a little bit more olive oil. And I'm just gonna spread it with my hands all over, because you want the dough to sit and rest in a greasy, oily space. I'm gonna cover it, and I'm gonna put it there in the back, and it's gonna rest for a couple of hours. I said it was a 10-pounder. It's a 10-pounder. Oh, it smells so good. It's final and last flip, and we want every piece of this roast to be like ridiculously irresistible. I'm there. I got it. Putting the lid one more time, and it's going in the oven for its final cooking. 2 more hours, and it puffed. So delicious. Splitting it into 2, kind of wrap it around itself and let it rest. Now we have 2. It's gonna be a half hour. I'm gonna wait for my pork roast, and then I'm gonna make my pizza sauce. Okay, yum. And the meat looks so beautiful. We're going to take the fat that's risen onto the surface, and we're gonna cook the pizza sauce with it. And then I'm gonna add some of the adobo sauce. I'm gonna mix it with the pizza sauce. And so the pizza, the sauce, and the topping are gonna be married all together. So see, this is the fat rendered from the pork, but that has been cooking in here for the 5 hours, which is so worthy. I'm gonna get out the pork roast. It is truly falling apart. Yum. It is falling into pieces, as it should. You can see how it's just falling apart. I'm reserving a half a cup of the adobo because I'm gonna use it to make my pizza sauce. And then I'm gonna put all the meat that I just shredded back in there so it can continue to soak in the adobo sauce. So worth it. Yum. I'm gonna make my pizza sauce here over medium heat. The fat from the roast, 3 to 4 tablespoons. I have a 1/4 cup of finely chopped white onion. I'm going to add a can of 28-ounce crushed tomatoes. You could use fresh tomatoes and crush them or puree them, but I'm using a large can. I prefer crushed because then you got the chunks. Then I'm gonna add my orange and piloncillo adobo sauce right in here. A little bit of salt, pepper, teaspoon of dried oregano. We're gonna crush it. It's just gonna cook and season for 4 to 5 minutes. And then the pizza sauce is ready. And then I'm gonna get all my ingredients to top the pizza. I have the pork, I have the pizza sauce, I need to get some cheese, I need some pickled jalapenos, and I need to shape my dough. I'm gonna make 2 pizzas because I'm gonna have my boys join me, which is making me so happy. So, touch.
Ooh,
It's
that's
like-
actually so soft.
I know. So I figured out the best method is to have like a lot of flour in the surface, and then it's really fun because you start from the center and you start like massaging the dough. Do you wanna help me?
Yeah, sure.
Press? Go for it. Like you stretch this out and it stretches back in. I'm very happy with how these turned out. Juju, this is like really good. We can bake this one in the oven. Oh, that's beautiful. Perfect. To make the pizza, we have the pizza dough, we have the pizza sauce with the adobo sauce, we have the piloncillo pork roast. Tengo Oaxaca cheese that I shredded. Tengo cotija cheese. I have some here, but I have some more here. I have pickled jalapenos. I have red onion. Y tengo los chiles piquines. Sauce.
But the sauce is so good.
These look so good. What do you think? Enough cheese?
I think that looks good.
Yeah?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so good.
Before you continue adding the pork, do you want to try a piece?
I want to try a piece.
Yeah, I want to try.
You want to put some right here?
Oh no, no.
Alan!
Alan. No, it's so good. So soft.
They both look yum. Let's put them in the oven.
Let's do it.
Oh, that looks beautiful. Ready?
Yeah. Se me va a romper todo. Oh.
Oh,
So good. Oh my God.
wow.
Yeah, that dough is so good.
Yeah.
So soft. So good.
Pica por todos lados.
Yeah, it is pretty spicy.
But it has like the heat in the sauce and the heat in the adobo pork and then the heat in the jalapenos and then the heat in the
I love the tomato sauce.
piquín, but the tomato sauce
So good.
con el adobo, a little sweet, con el piloncillo. It's like it wants to be like a combination of Mexican and barbecue and Italian. Like, I was crazy surprised of finding a pizza in the middle of Bustamante. But next time, you guys have to come with me, guys.
Were the empanadas as good?
The empanadas were pretty phenomenal, but the pizza was beyond. Nuevo León. Arid landscapes and mountains create harsh conditions where few ingredients dare to grow.
That's quelites. Actually, they grow year-round.
But Gaby Molinar is bringing more to the table.
We wanted to prove that we could grow our own food or vegetables where we live.
Oh my gosh, those are gigantic.
Yes.
Today, she's showing me around her groundbreaking urban farm.
That's dinosaur kelp.
It looks like a mini dinosaur park.
And how she grows diverse, nutritious food in the middle of a desert.
I mean, can you be any cuter?
But it wouldn't be farm to table without the table. So next, I meet visionary Guillermo Beristain to see how the local food movement has changed his restaurant game.
These are the pits I helped you uproot.
Exactly.
Finally, I take you to Coli, where this younger generation of chefs is taking Guillermo's gastronomical trailblazing to the next level in unexpected ways.
Like a mystic forest right now.
I don't have liquid nitrogen in my kitchen,
This is like dark, fat gold.
but I do have a roasted duck with a spicy and tangy taste of key Nuevo León ingredients: honey, orange, and chile piquin. It's beyond yum.
Oh, it's so spicy.
I know. Spicy is our blood, Sammy. Doesn't stop.
I am going to give you a secret.
Yes, I love secrets. It's like nothing I've tasted before.
A diverse culinary palette is the last thing you might expect from the hot, dry desert state of Nuevo León. But the tough environment creates resiliency. You can find it in the plants and the people, like Gaby Molinar.
Welcome.
I've heard so much about your now legendary urban farm.
Thank you.
Nestled between the fast-paced streets of Monterrey and the Sierra Madre Oriental mountains is Huerto Urbano, Gaby's thriving urban farm.
We wanted to prove that we could grow our own food or vegetables where we live.
Yeah.
With all of the challenges that involves. Growing in Nuevo León is not
Challenging.
easy. Yeah.
Rainfall has declined each year since 2015, creating a drought emergency. So what are the odds of it happening today?
Is it raining?
It's starting to rain.
Yeah, good. Good. We want rain.
We're feeling the first rain in 2 years. That is kind of crazy.
Yes. That's dinosaur kale. Do you want to see them?
Beautiful, yeah.
When Gabby started the garden 15 years ago, urban farming in Monterrey was a foreign concept. But between local chefs looking for fresh, new ingredients and families needing healthier choices, it's been steadily growing every year.
75 families eat from this vegetable garden.
But cost is a barrier to many of the people who need it the most. Good quality seeds, constant attention, and developing a balanced ecosystem are expensive. So part of Gabby's mission is to educate.
We want people to understand what it costs to produce their food and to value it, a little bit more. And it's better for your health and it's better for the environment.
You guys, there's chicks.
Part of the ecosystem is raising animals that recycle byproducts and enrich the soil. Jamona isn't just here for the devastatingly beautiful looks.
Oh my gosh. I mean, can you be any cuter? I could just spend all day feeding Jamona.
She consumes all of the organic waste from the restaurants. And all of her waste goes directly into the compost and then back to the soil.
I don't think I can ever eat pig again. She's so cute. And I love bacon.
I love it too, Patty.
But there's one man who has very different plans for Jamona.
My husband's a chef, Patty, and every time that he comes, he tells me, when is Jamona ready?
Gabby's husband isn't just any chef. Guillermo Beristain was not only a judge on Top Chef Mexico, but he also pioneered fine dining in Monterrey.
This is one of my favorite vegetables.
Destiny brought them together in the form of a celery root.
Oh, that's how you met?
Yes, he wanted celery root. We had never grown it, and we started growing it, and we didn't realize that it takes about 10 months.
And then one day she called me and she said, they're ready.
And then you fell in love?
We did, yes.
Oh my gosh, those are gigantic.
Yes.
Guillermo was one of the first chefs in Monterrey to incorporate locally grown ingredients into a seasonal menu. But it was challenging.
I wanted to buy specifically some vegetables like celery root and stuff that was not available in the city.
So that has changed the way you function as a chef.
Exactly.
So you impacted Nuevo León, Gabby impacted you.
Yeah, the restaurant.
It's amazing, yeah.
The restaurants have become much more sustainable since I met Gabby.
Mother Teresa famously said, "Do small things with great love." And Gabby's small farm is changing the way food is valued and served in Monterrey, one celery root at a time. Guillermo's restaurant, Pangea, is all about propelling Mexican gastronomy forward. Named a Latin America Top 50 restaurant in 2020, Pangea combines Guillermo's French training with Mexican ingredients to create insane 5-star fusion dishes.
¡Ay, qué bonito está! This is so beautiful. And these are the flowers we picked.
Exactly.
And these are the beets I helped you uproot.
Exactly.
Team. I'm just looking at you with so much admiration because this is so delicious.
At the start of his career, there were 0 culinary schools in Mexico.
When I went to school, we had this class called International, where you see cooking from other countries.
In just one class.
One day was Mexico.
Right.
That's only one day. 6-hour class.
We need a lifetime.
Of course, and we did mole, and we used peanut butter to make the mole.
Oh my God.
That was 30 years ago.
After training abroad, he returned to Mexico with the goal of expanding fine dining for Mexicans by Mexicans. But he chose the least likely place to do it, Nuevo León.
One of my best friends, he said it's professional suicide what you're doing. Nobody knows how to eat in Monterrey. It's only goat and carne asada or grilled meat. I'll say, let's see.
25 years later, Guillermo has built Grupo Pangea into 12 restaurants that value sourcing Mexican ingredients from across the country. Like this Mexican aged duck with a side of cauliflower from Gabby's farm.
I don't know if to cry or laugh a little, it's that good. It's crazy. You're really dignifying Mexican cuisine, I feel.
But success takes so much more than good food alone. It's about all the people who help along the way.
At the time of the pandemic, we had 400 employees. We had to close for almost 12 weeks. With
Todos?
All of them. That was very tough. We're still open 2 years after that because of our employees. One employee told me, chef, don't worry about my salary. I don't need it. I live with my parents. People used to come here and they paid wine and they gave a $500 tip to the waiters. And it almost makes me cry. So it was very, very hard. But we're still here.
Today, Pangea remains a restaurant that pushes the Mexican culinary revolution forward.
When did we start not looking down on Mexican cuisine?
Creo que todo esto cambió cuando nosotros como mexicanos nos la empezamos a creer. ¿Quién iba a pensar que un restaurante mexicano o un chef mexicano iba a poder cocinar en la mejor mesa del mundo?
Sí.
Y el día de hoy no hay duda de que tenemos una de las mejores comidas del mundo y uno del mayor talento del mundo.
Sí.
Thanks to chefs like Guillermo, a younger generation, like the Colli brothers I'm meeting later, have a path to push the bounds of Mexican gastronomy even farther.
Concepts like Colli wouldn't be open still if it wasn't a Pangea open like 14, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think that the best in Mexico food is yet to come.
I am so here for this. And now I want to meet some of this younger generation. But first, let's head to the kitchen.
I'm so excited because it's the first time that we are making duck together in this kitchen. And I'm making a spicy honey, garlic, and orange roasted version. And I'm gonna use the fat from the duck and some roasted garlic to make a skillet corn tamal. I have salted water that I'm bringing to a boil. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to insert the duck, and it's gonna sit there for 3 minutes, and that will help super tighten the skin and have it stick to the meat. Now I'm gonna go drain it. The duck has a ton of fat. I'm going all over the duck, and I'm piercing with this small paring knife. All of these poking will help the fat release, the skin get super crispy at the same time that the fat that's close to the meat melts into the meat and makes it super flavorful. After you finish doing these on both sides, what you want to do now is score